Welcome to my kitchen. Miss Behaven is going to cook eggplant parmesan today, and I have some beautiful eggplants that I bought yesterday, and oh, they're gorgeous. They have little gold labels on them. And what did the labels say? They said eggplant. So we've got eggplant. So I tried to make this years and years ago, reading recipes in books, and they always said fry the eggplant slices before you assemble the eggplant parmesan. And I never had luck with it because eggplant is like a sponge. It soaks up all the oil. So I don't know if it's how I did it or whatever, but I forgot about it for years and years. Then last year, I went to Lulu's downtown Palm Springs, and they had eggplant parmesan, and I'm like, oh, I gotta try this. And you know what? It was delicious. I thought, why can't I make this at home? So I did a little research over the last year, trying different methods and recipes I see online, and I came up with one that makes a delicious eggplant parmesan, really satisfying, lots of cheese and everything, but light. It's almost a diet dish, sort of, but it's delicious. So you've got your eggplants. I've got 3 big eggplants here, and I'm going to start slicing this. Slicing the eggplant. So I like them rather on the thick side. And when I say thick, I mean about like that. Because if they're too thin, you don't really get that nice eggplant layer in the finished thing. Just to be able to figure out what it is, what is this? It's 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch. So I'm going to slice this into 1/2 inch slices, all 3 of them. Some people peel them. I don't peel them because I like the skin on them. I like the black thing on them when they're layered together. You can see the layers. Plus they taste good. So you can peel them if you want. You know, you can do whatever you want. Oh, did I tell you? I have marinara sauce bubbling away on the stove over there, my homemade marinara sauce. I've done this with jarred sauce, ragu, or a good jarred sauce, and it's just delicious. It's fine either way. But today, because you're with me, I made a homemade marinara sauce. It's just onions, sauteed onions, garlic, chopped tomatoes in a big can, and what else? Oh, a little basil. I've got some fresh basil. We're going to use this in a minute. I've got my eggplants all sliced right here. Oh, it's a lot. There's 3 big eggplants in there. Now, we are going to bread them with fresh breadcrumbs, bake them in the oven until they're tender. So that's the step I'm going to start right now. Okay, I used to use the stuff, you know, the Progresso breadcrumbs, the seasoned breadcrumbs, but this is so much better. Sourdough, something with a little tooth to it, is really good for this. We put it in the food processor. You just break up the bread. This is that St. Louis sourdough bread. It's a little bit old. Don't use moldy bread, my dears. It's got to be fresh bread. And we want to kind of guess how much we're going to need. We need enough to coat all those. So, you know, I'd say a cup or 2. So you're going to want to get the breadcrumbs in there, the bread in there. And to the bread, we're going to add some fresh basil leaves and some Parmesan cheese. And this really gives it a good flavor. So yeah, this bread is nice and, I won't say tough, but it's not like Wonder Bread, you know, it's got a little substance to it. So we're going to get this going. We're going to begin with the bread pieces. in the food processor. Ooh, got a lot. We'll see. Sometimes this takes a little doing to get them chopped up real fine like breadcrumbs. So put that in there. Be quiet, honey. The cat's over here rubbing against my leg. She hears me talking and she's all excited. She thinks we have company or something. Okay, so, hot. Take a few minutes. So this is looking good. Very fine. Very fine. It looks beautiful. So, to this, we're going to add about a cup of Parmesan. And this is Parmesan and Romano. And this stuff is fine. My grandmother used it. It's great. So I'm going to put a nice cup of it. Oh, hell. I'm finishing it up. Now, when I was very little, my grandparents lived in San Francisco. So they had access to North Beach. And they always used to buy a big chunk, a big slab of the real deal Parmesan, you know. And down in the basement they had a grater. It was a big wooden box with a grating thing on top and a little drawer. And we'd sit there every time before we ate and go downstairs and grate about a cup of good Parmesan, you know. But when they moved, this is what we had, and it's great. So I use it. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm adding some fresh basil leaves into this breading. It gives it a really good flavor. So we have that, we have the cheese, we have the breadcrumbs. We're going to chop that up. Shouldn't take too long. Looks good. Oh, be quiet. Hey, I'm on camera here. It's the cat, it's Seagaze over there. She wants to go out. She's excited whenever I talk in the house because we don't talk much around here. So when somebody's talking, she goes, oh, it smells like North Beach in San Francisco. So I'm going to put all this bread in here. And we're going to get ready to do our method of breading, and I'll show you how I do it. I do an egg wash. Let me get that ready and then I'll show you. Okay, so I'm going to start my breading here. I've got 2 eggs that I'm going to beat up. This is the egg wash. Then I'm going to begin. I'm going to put some olive oil on I have a baking pan covered with aluminum foil. Put some olive oil on it, mush it around, good olive oil. This is Partana. I've never heard of it. So yeah, get this all covered with the olive oil. And this will give it a good brown color when it cooks. They're going to go into a 400-degree oven about 15 to 20 minutes on each side until they get soft and they, oh, where's my tongs? I need my tongs. Okay, so we start with the egg wash. Just dip them in. I find a flat bottom, something with a flat bottom works good for this. And then right into our beautiful breadcrumb mixture. And this is the way I do it. I get a spoon, you see, flip it over. There we go. And then that goes right onto the cookie sheet. And you're going to need 2 big cookie sheets for 3 eggplants, I think. Goes in there. Now this is kind of thick. This one's a little over a ½ inch. But it will be fine because when they cook in the oven, they'll get tender. Go. Beautiful. Beautiful. There we have it. Now, these are ready for the oven. I've got 2 baking sheets full. Well, almost full. Depends on the size of your eggplant. I've done it with 4 eggplants before, and then you need another dish, you know, like another big baking dish. So these are ready for the oven. They're going to go in at 400 degrees, and they're going to be about 20 minutes per side. Actually, I think 20 minutes is good because they're kind of thick. So I'm going to set the timer for 20 minutes when I put these in, and then I'll show you when I flip them how nice they look. What else? What else? Salting the eggplant. Okay, big controversy. A lot of people swear by salting the eggplant. And when I read in line, the reason that they do it is to get rid of excess moisture and to get rid of a bitter taste. And I have to say, today's eggplants are perfectly dry, they're not full of any moisture, and they don't have a bitter taste. I've tried the salting a few times. First time I did a light salting and a rinse. It made absolutely no difference. The second time, I did what some recipes call for, which is to really salt them, weigh them down, and let them sit overnight. And so I made my eggplant parmesan with that method, and it was terrible. It was salty, salty, salty. It tasted like seawater, really. I had to throw it out, so that was a shame. So salting, don't worry about it, don't do it. Okay, these are going into the oven. Now, let's see. These were on the bottom shelf. Let's see how these came out. Ah, beautiful. This is how they should look, you see? Beautiful. Ooh. Gorgeous. Gorgeous. And the olive oil really helped, of course. Oh, these are perfect. So, now they go back in for another 20 minutes. And when these are perfectly tender and done, I'm going to do the assembly for the final eggplant parmesan that goes in the oven. Look at this, they're beautiful. Well, you can see them. See? Yes. Yes, they're nice and browned. You see, they just came out of the oven. Yes, and they're soft. You want these to be cooked all the way through. These are gorgeous. Ooh. Yes, tender and cooked all the way through. Now I'm going to begin my assembly. Now, I've got my beautiful homemade marinara sauce, and I'm going to begin my assembly now. So, let's see, sometimes you put a little olive oil, or you can put a little of the marinara sauce at the bottom. Got a nice big casserole here. Ooh, steaming hot. Oh, I lowered the oven to 325 because after I assemble this, it's going to bake uncovered at 325 for 45 minutes. So here we go. Look at how beautiful these are. Oh, and they're nice and tender, just perfect. So we start with one layer of the eggplant. I'm going to do a whole layer here. This is a huge casserole. So actually, if it was a smaller one, it would be a little thicker. I don't have enough pieces to do like 4 layers. But anyway, okay, so there's our first layer. We get our nice marinara on everything, just to kind of cover each piece. There we go. Oh, this is going to be delicious. Then our good old sprinkle of Parmesan, because it is eggplant Parmesana, my dears. And then mozzarella. Again, Kraft. Yeah. If I lived in San Francisco, I'd be getting, you know, all the real deal things, but out here in Palm Springs, I mean, I could go to Gelson's or, what do you call it, oh, Jensen's, oh my God. You don't need to. Okay, so that's good. So that's the first layer. Then we do our second layer. So you put one, you just kind of space them out. It doesn't, there's no rhyme or reason to it. God, look at this one. Oh my God. So this is only, I think there's only enough for 2 layers in this big casserole. But believe me, it's going to be delicious. Oh my goodness. Okay, repeat the process. We've got our marinara. I'm going to put a lot this time. Ooh, brother. Mm. Parmigiana, Parmigiana, Parmigiana. Yes, 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 yes. And the final layer of mozzarella. Mozzarella. Nice, a nice amount. This is going to melt into the sauce there and get all bubbly. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. So there we have it. So that's what it looks like. So now, 45 minutes at 325, and then we will take it out and taste it. Woo. Yes, oh my goodness, and here we have it, right out of the oven. It's been sitting just a few minutes, so let's try it, shall we? It looks delicious. The cheese is all melted. Everything was all bubbly. Sometimes I can just do it with the spatula. Yes, it's all cooked beautifully. Let's see what it looks like. Oh my goodness. Look at how gorgeous. Oh. Absolutely delicious.